also felt like sinners became kind of repetitive at points. So we are going to use this for the next few days. And this will be kind of your key to annotating your other stuff that we will have. All right. So we're going to start with our friend rhetorical situation. This should be familiar. Yes, we've seen this multiple times. So our piece of text that we are reading is going to be a speech, and it's called Anti-Woman, and it's by Soujourner Truth. All right, so we're going to start off by not doing anything but listening to this speech. A current actress, I have a YouTube video of her reading the speech, so you can read along with her. This is not, I repeat, this is not Soujourner Truth. Okay? This is an actress.
Well, Sharon, where there is so much racket, there must be something out of kilter. I think that twixt the Negroes of the South and the women at the North all talking about rights, the white men be in a fix pretty soon. But what's all this talking about? That man over there, that man say that women need to be helped into carriages and lifted over ditches and have the very best place everywhere. Nobody ever helped me in a carriage or over mud puddles or give me any best place. And ain't I a woman? Look at me. Look at me. Look at my arms. I have plowed and planted and gathered in the barn. No man can hit me. And ain't I a woman? I can eat as much as a man. I can work as hard as a man. Eat as much when I can get it. And ain't I a woman? I have born 13 children, and I've seen most all of them sold off to slavery. And when I cried out in my mama's grief, where nobody heard me but Jesus, ain't I a woman? They talking about that thing in the head. What is it? What is it? Intellect, that's it, honey. That's it. They talk about intellect. What that got to do with women's rights? What that got to do with Negro rights? If my cup won't hold but a pint and yours hold a quart, wouldn't you be mean not to let me have my little half measure full? Then that little man there, that one in black, he say that women can't have as much rights as men cause Christ wasn't a woman. Where did your Christ come from? Where did your Christ come from? From God and a woman. Man ain't had nothing to do with him. If the first woman God ever made was strong enough to turn the world upside down all alone, these women together, they ought to be able to turn it up, back, get a right side up again, and now they is asking to do it. The men better let them. Obliged to y'all for hearing me. Now, Soujourner, ain't got nothing else to say.
All right. So here's where we need a little research. So I need you to find out more about the speaker. So Google and find, who is she? What's her background? What's her role? What are her physical features? We know how many children she has. How many children does she have? 13. All right. You have like 2 minutes. Go. Find your background information about your speaker. Jot down all the major things that would tie into why we need to know her. We get some key ideas. All right, tell me a couple things that we need to know about her that we think are vital to us better understanding this passage. Michael, what'd you get?
She's African American Washington.
What is an abolitionist?
Goes against slavery.
Woman's right.
No.
No,
That's, nope, wrong.
going against slavery.
Yes. She's not only an abolitionist, though. Brooks, what else is she?
Woman's right.
Yes. She's like a suffragette, kind of. What else?
She escaped slavery with her newborn in 1826.
Okay, what else?
She was born in slavery.
Okay, what else?
I don't know if it's important, but she was 60.
It is important, yeah. I mean, and especially you think like nowadays it's a little bit more common. Like I don't know why, but like we've evolved, right? Like we've gotten taller over the years. So I mean, especially for during this time, yeah. I mean that's extremely tall for a female. I mean it's still tall now for a 6-foot woman, but then especially, right? Okay, anything else?
She lived to the age of 86. Which is really old for that.
Yeah, especially for being a slave and the work and torture that she was, a part of, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I think we need to skip the audience first and go down to context. So let's look at when it was delivered, where it was delivered, what's happening historically in America, meaning like we are pre what, post what, during what. So a couple of minutes, find those things. Google and find those things for me. Now it makes me want to pop my back. Jot down those things.
I put one with 7% this way. I put this one
I just haven't got time right there.
I really have our time. So.
Before you do that, I think like an inhaler.
You vaping?
No, that'll kill you. Whoever does that's stupid.
Right?
Just kidding.
Okay, what did we find? When was it done?
May 29th, 1851.
Say that again.
May 29th, 1851.
Okay, where?
Ohio, Akron.
Ooh, Women's Convention. That's important. Akron, Ohio.
It was published on June 21st, 1851.
1851?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What's happening historically in America? Pre, post?
It was about like 10 years before the Civil War.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? What rights do people have, not have, groups not have? So what rights do they have? Equal rights for who? There are equal rights?
There's equal rights only for white people.
So what can African Americans not do?
They can't like share the same bath. They can't share things with white people like bathrooms.
That's more the civil rights movement.
This is like
Is this the
they like couldn't.
Okay, so they can't be free, they can't vote, right? What about women during this time? Just women in general.
They had no rights.
Couldn't
They
vote
literally had no rights.
and then there's still
Was that
property.
Yeah.
Property.
Did you say what's
Okay, so now that we understand some of this, right? Remember we talked that we have to go the audience to the what? Third power, right? So let's look at this women's convention first. Who is going to be an audience at this women's convention?
women?
Be more specific.
Black politician.
White women that want what?
Equal right.
Don't we have to put those like A1 and
Yeah, we could. Okay, so you have white women that want equal rights. Who else is there? Okay, so you might have African American women that desire rights, period. We're in the North. So what generally do we think about, like, the North versus South mentalities?
The North isn't for slavery.
Wasn't she?
The North is what?
They're not for slavery. They're against slavery.
They are against slavery, however, what?
Abolitionists?
Okay, so there are, we're going to go to the fourth one, there are abolitionists in there. Lexi, what were you going to say?
Well, I'm just confused. She was in the North the entire time for slavery. She's in New York, so.
Most of the northern states were for it, but that doesn't mean nobody.
So they were against the idea of slavery, right? But they didn't necessarily feel, they were forward thinkers, but they didn't necessarily feel that African Americans should have equal rights, right? They just were not necessarily for slavery. Does that make sense? So we would have abolitionists, and then she points out that man right there, so who else is probably in the audience?
Men.
White men with power, right? So remember, we want to say more than men, women, Americans, right? We want to be specific and define them. All right, we're going to come back to the exegenes after we get done reading it. All right, you ready? All right, so let's go through and number our body paragraphs first. Well, children is 1. That man over there is 2. I have born is 3. Then they is 4. Then that is 5. It's side by side and then on the back. Mine's front and back. Yours is side by side. If the first is 6, obliged is 7. With me? Okay. All right. So notice what we're doing is answer the guided questions in the right-hand column. When prompted, create your own level 2. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. So this is your guide. When you are given passages now over the next couple of weeks, this is the interpretation. Finding like your text to annotate. The notes that we're making out to the side would be your annotations that I would expect you to make. All right, so let's look at this. You're looking at level questions. So I don't know if have y'all talked about like level 1 questions or levels of questions. So level 1 questions, I always say like level 1 question, you can go point to the answer. So a level 1 question is a factual answer found in text, meaning you can point to it. Okay. Level 2, which y'all will be writing. Level 2, look at me. Level 2 is inferencing. You read between the lines, right? So level 1, you can put your finger on it, point to it. Level 2, you read between the lines, right? Or you infer. Now this is what we have been doing the last few times we've done SAQs, right? By saying like, how is Abigail characterized? Or how is John Proctor characterized? We can't go point to that answer in the text. We have to point to the answer and explain how it shows something, right? So ultimately what we're doing is we're asking level 2 questions. So level 2 questions are going to be the questions that lead you to a bigger, thoughtful answer. Okay? And then level 3 is like 3, you look at the world, it's a W, so it's like the world in general, right? So it's a world connection. So when we talk about levels of questions and I say, hey, I want you to go create a level 2 question or a level 3 question, this is what we're talking about. Okay. Well, children, where there is so much racket, there must be something out of kilter. So look at this first question. So children. Why do you think the speaker uses the word children?
Because they are ignorant and need to learn.
Okay, so our audience is ignorant and needs to learn, just like. Okay, why else? Notice that I do a couple of answers here. Why else would she address? Did we talk about children at all in the audience? No, so she is not physically talking to children. Why would she address the women, the men as children?
She's their elder.
Do what?
She's their elder.
Okay. Good. She's their elder. So what does that mean? She's their elder, so what? So she is what? She's more wise. Yep. Good. All right. With a partner, someone around you, find another piece of evidence in this text that you like and talk about why you like it. Talk with a person, underline it, mark it, do something, and then we're going to create a level 2 question together. Ready, set, go. You have like 2 minutes to talk with a partner about your piece of evidence. Go.
Just in paragraph 1.
Just this one right here.
Did you find anything?
Y'all are talking so much to each other. It is kind of like her dialect. What does that mean? Mm-hmm. Look at what she's talking about. What would you say twixt meant?
She's talking about the
Twixt.
Yeah.
How does she use it? How does she use it?
It's used like a derogatory term.
I think that twixt the Negroes of the South and the women of the North.
So people who like don't have rights or whatever. Like,
But what is twixt? What would we
I don't know. When you
change
say
that
Twix,
word?
I think of the candy. I don't know.
All right, let's talk and let's create a couple things together. What do you like in here that you think is important in paragraph 1?
The white woman.
You like that?
You like the white man?
What?
This idea right here?
Yes.
Okay, so then let's ask a question about that.
Oh, I just now got it.
What fix is truth referencing? So I think to answer that, we have to go back to this idea of something is out of kilter.
What I said.
So what is out of kilter?
Out of balance.
Okay, so what is, so that means, that's what it means, right? Out of kilter means out of balance. So what is she saying is out of balance?
The racket.
No.
The right.
Whose rights?
Everyone.
Okay, so what is out of kilter? equal rights for women, and she says the Negroes or the African Americans, right? Okay, so that we have to understand that first before we get to what fix is truth referencing. So then she says, okay, these equal rights are not equal. They are out of balance, right? Which is kind of an oxymoron that equal rights are out of balance. The white so the Negroes of the South and the women, twixt the Negroes of the South and the women in the North. Twixt meaning between. Between the Negroes of the South and the women in the North, all talking about rights. These white men will be in a fix soon. What is the fix she is talking about? What? So they're going to be in a situation. What is the situation they are referencing?
The women are gonna have rights.
Yeah. Listen, these white men are going to be outnumbered. Between the women in the North and the Negroes in the South, we outnumber these white men. I don't know if they're going to beat them, but they're going to be in a situation because sooner or later we're going to gain our rights. Right? So that's what she's talking about there. Okay. I love this part too. That man over there, listen, she is a white woman, she's a black woman standing up in front of white people and goes, that white man right there. That man right there. I mean, that's kind of, what would you say? What would you say that is? Like what kind of?
It's very blunt.
It's blunt? Ooh, good. She kind of is. Blunt, what else did we say? Confident? I don't think it's passive aggressive. Passive aggressive is like, man, people are, like, I wish I wouldn't get it. She was like, nope, I'm calling you out.
I'm out.
So she is blunt, she is confident. What else would you say? Brave, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that man over there says that women need to be helped into carriages and lifted over ditches and to have the best places everywhere. So have we ever talked about parallelism? So what is parallelism in math?
They're like opposite.
Y'all are like, it's this.
That.
What does that mean?
They're the same. They're the same.
They're the same, they never touch. Okay, so we have the same thing in sentence structure, okay? So, and you kind of hear it in the rhythm, right? So do you hear it helped into carriages, lifted over ditches, right? So it's the same structure. And I should have said the same grammatical structure. But look, so this is how we look and we see if things are parallel. These are parallel. That's how we check and see if they're parallel. Because what comes first? Helped and lifted, what are those?
Words.
Very good. We are winning bonuses today. What types of words are they?
Verbs.
They are verbs. What kind of verbs?
I don't know. Ever.
They all are like, I don't know any different kinds of verbs. They are, I heard it, action verbs. Y'all are like, there are other kinds of verbs. So they are action verbs. So they are action verbs done to or for white women, right? Into and over carriages and ditches. So they are literally put in their place. Okay? That is an analysis of the parallelism. With me so far? Why does she parallel those ideas? Because it parallels all of the actions done for white women. Right? And then she says, and then she contrasts that with nobody ever helped me into carriages or over mud puddles. Parallel again. What's missing?
The action verb.
Yep. She has the helped into carriages or helped onto, but that is literally, those action verbs are taken out. Why? So this is a parallel, right? So are these the same parallel or different parallels? They're different, so they contrast. So literally in her sentence structure, she parallels the actions that the white women are getting and contrasts that with the actions that the black women are not getting. And then she follows that with
A question.
She follows that with a question. So it is action and then question. And what's the question? And is she? Okay. What do we understand about her character? So what would you characterize her as? Her character, what would you characterize her as?
Woman.
That's not a character. Y'all just spit out words. I need us to be better than that.
Nice.
Oh my God. Okay, we need to go from sophomoric, ninth grade, even my middle schooler would be able to come up with a better word than she's nice.
Well,
Extravagant.
Like,
a lab.
Her
Calling her smart.
y'all, her character. Oh, I know she's smart. Her character.
Smart.
what?
What is her character? What would you label? So think back. We've answered this question, right? We've talked about like what's Abigail's character, right?
Yes.
What
She's straight
is John Proctor's character? How would you characterize her to this point? No.
She's not. What?
It's like that's the same thing. It's the
By the
same.
way, I get it.
Like
Okay, she is.
smug.
I don't think she's.
Blunt.
I would say her character is brave. Yeah.
Yeah. I said that.
I would say she could be a tad bit cocky, right? How would you characterize her life?
Her life.
How would you look at what she's done, right?
Hard.
Okay, she's had a very hard life, right? Where's the proof? Where's the proof that she is brave?
'Cause she
In
what?
paragraph 2.
Oh, we just.
Calls out the
Calls
man.
out
Okay, she's brave because she's calling out the white men. Okay, good.
Yeah, look at my own.
Why has her life been hard? Because she what?
Plowed and planted.
Just like a what?
Man.
Actually, not just like a man.
Better.
Better than a man. Right?
She's
She says, look at my arm. I have plowed and planted, gathered into barns, and no man could head me, meaning like no man could beat what I've done. Like I work harder, do more, right, than a man. And then she questions that, right? So if a man is a human, shouldn't I still be considered a woman? As in not even a color? But like as in a white woman, shouldn't I be considered a woman to have equal rights? Right? I could work as much and eat as much as a man when I could bear it, or when I could get it, and bear the lash as well. What could she also do just as well as a man?
Last.
Take a beating.
Wait,
Right? That's the lash.
I know, but
So,
isn't she the one?
what?
Isn't she the one?
Yes.
Yeah, I know, but she can take a beating just as well as any other man. Not better.
So you would typically think that a woman would not be able to take a beating, the same beating that a man would take, right?
Okay, I got you.
And she says, I can take the same beating as a man can take, right? So write for me a level 2 question. What do we like in here? What have we talked about already? Hello? What have we talked about already?
Her calling out the man.
Okay, so then we can say, why is it important that Truth compares herself to a man? The answer would be because it shows that she can work as hard, take the beating as well, eat as much, because if she can do all those things just like a man can, then I should have the equal rights just like a man can, right? These white women are being helped over things, helped into things. I don't need nobody's help. So aren't I a better woman than that? Okay, your job the next 9 minutes before you leave today is to, you'll be graded on paragraphs 3 and 4. You may work with a partner. No, you may not.
What?
I think it's
I
good.
guess not.
You may work with a partner, except for the groups that I said last week could not work with partners. So you may be working by yourself if you were in the group last week that I said you can no longer work in a group when you turned in stuff. Ready, set, go. If you didn't get any work done last week when you worked in a group and I said, what have you been doing this whole time? Then you cannot work in a group.